Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing? It is Natalie with Homeschool Natalie Mack. Thank you for coming in. So I'm super excited to be here. I am streaming into my Facebook page, Homeschool Natalie Mack. I am streaming into my LinkedIn profile as well as my Homeschool Natalie Mack YouTube channel. So, welcome, welcome wherever you are watching. And if you are catching the replay later, you can post any comments, any questions that you have. You can also reach out to me at hello at Natalie hyphen or a dash mac.com. That's hello at Natalie hyphen mack.com. And so we are only going to be here briefly. This is Homeschooling High School, my 5 tips for success. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. We have been on a homeschooling journey for 23 plus years. And we have 5 children. We are a retired military family. My husband served as a Navy chaplain. So we have homeschooled in the military community all over the world for a long time. And so I am the CEO of Homeschool Natalie Mack, and I love to speak, train, encourage, inspire homeschoolers. I also am the founder of Military Homeschoolers Association, and you can find both Homeschool Natalie Mack on socials as well as Military Homeschoolers Association on socials as well. And so if you need to reach out to me via my homeschool consultation, Homeschool Natalie Mack business, then reach out to me at the email that I just gave, or the website is natalie-mack, mack.com. If you need to reach me via the Military Homeschoolers Association, it is Military Homeschoolers, LERS.org, or you can reach out to us via email at info, INFO, at militarymhomeschoolers.org. So I appreciate you all popping in and catching the replay if you're not here live. So Homeschooling High School, my 5 tips for success. So what do I want to tell you? So the first tip I want to say is plan with the end in mind. Plan with the end in mind. And so, what does that mean? I always encourage families to look ahead to see what the post secondary destination is. Sometimes you don't know it, sometimes your student does not know it, particularly if the student is still like in 9th or 10th grade. Every once in a while, there's a student who starts high school knowing completely what they want to do. Maybe they've been talking about that for a long time, such as you often hear, oh, he always wanted to be a doctor, or she always wanted to be an engineer. And then if you have that knowledge, then you can channel that, you can encourage, you can plan a little bit easier, right? But it's still a strategy. You still need to plan. So regardless of whether you or your child knows where they want to go next, there are several post-secondary destinations that I often speak about. One is the commonly known college bound, right? And so there are also students who want to enlist, and there are students who maybe want to go to a military service academy like the Naval Academy or West Point, for an example. Or there are students who want to do trade, right? Or there's students who want to do a gap year, or students who want to study abroad. So or finally, students who want to go into a community college rather than a 4-year college or university. So those are post-secondary destinations, and there's no one that is better than the other. They are all viable. You just need to plan, and your student needs to plan. So you, homeschooling mom or dad, engage your student. They need to be part of the plan. This is their life next. You are raising adults. At least that's our Mac family perspective. And so I encourage you to include them in the planning of the classes and all. Their whole high school journey, include them in that. So we talked about the post-secondary options, and there's probably some other ones out there, but those that I mentioned already are the most common. So you want to make sure that you map out a 4-year plan. What is the high school years? What are they going to look like? What needs to be happening during those years? If you know the destination, like I said, then you can plan more specifically. But there is a college bound plan. And regardless of if your student is college bound or not, I personally have always recommended that families consider homeschooling to college. And that way, if your student decides later, like in 11th or even beginning of 12th grade, when college admissions applications are due, you are not scrambling to try to catch up because it's difficult to catch up at that moment. It's really hard to catch up for the requirements for being successful in the college admissions process at the last moment. So homeschool to college, just in case, even if you don't think your student is college bound, or even if your student is confident they are not college bound, homeschool to college, there is a generic homeschooling kind of plan. And then, depending upon if your student is homeschooling to college and already knows they want to go to college, do they know what college or colleges they want to apply to? That also gives you some help in how to plan. What does that mean? There are colleges that are basically pretty much a guarantee if you do everything right and the grades look good, that they're going to get into. And then there are schools that we call a reach, like when you have to reach up onto a shelf because something's a little far away. You're not sure you're going to be able to get your hands around it, but it's a reach. So that's the school that you aren't quite sure that your student is going to actually be successful in getting accepted. But it doesn't really matter necessarily, other than you just want to look and see if those are the scenarios, then you want to be able to help your student plan for those type of colleges, because the requirements for the reach schools, the highly selective schools, do require a bit more jumps and hurdles to overcome, right? And so you want to look at that, map out that plan, sit down with your student and talk about what this 4 years is going to look like. What are you interested in? What are your passions and interests? What do we want to focus and spend the most time on? What kind of courses do you need to take to kind of complement who you are and where you want to go next, right? There are the basic 5 core subjects that you do ideally want to cover: the math, the science, social sciences, the foreign languages, and then the language arts. Then everything else is electives. So when you cover those, look through those 5 categories, those 5 core subject areas I just mentioned, and then help your student plot in the courses. So let's talk about social sciences, and let's talk specifically history is a subject that falls under that core category of social science. So history, typically you'll hear families do US history, or American history, world history, those kinds of things. Ancient history, they're totally fine. But there's so many other types of history, and your student has that ability to actually take other types of history just based on passions, interests. And it doesn't have to follow the traditional pattern. They're not missing out. They're not losing out. They're actually gaining an area of expertise that maybe isn't commonly sought after. So just kind of realize that. For me, I have always explained, and my vision of homeschooling high school is, imagine if you are an artist, or even if you're not, you can envision a blank white canvas, and an artist has the ability to like draw or paint and create this amazing post-secondary art, right? Post-secondary destination art. That's what happens with high school. An amazing time to just really, really get to know your student more, get your student to know themselves more, and really get them to plug into a love for learning and to be able to take that love for learning wherever they go next, whether it's trade, whether it's college, whether it's enlistment, military service academy, any of the other ones I mentioned, right? And so look into your resources. How are you going to do graduation? Are you going to do dual enrollment? Do you have a student who is an athlete and is wanting to play in college? So that would be a college bound athlete. There's a process. Many families who have students who love sports and want to play in college, they have been homeschooling successfully from kindergarten to 8th. And then they decide we're going to pivot into public school because we don't know the process to help our student accomplish their goal of getting selected to play at the college level. So part of that process is understanding the NCAA Eligibility Center. There's a process for homeschoolers. And then, of course, the student has to show up on the college application process and get accepted, because those are two distinct separate things, right? NCAA eligibility and college acceptance are totally different, but they need to merge together in order for your child to be successful. And there is a commonly found path that's already identified for that to happen. So you don't have to pivot to public or private school in high school if you're concerned about, successfully leading your college bound athlete into that path. All right. And if your student wants to enter into the military, there is the ASVAB career exploration program called the ASVAB SEP. And so I help students and families, and I set those up in places around the country. And so just to give our homeschoolers an opportunity, not necessarily if you want to enlist, but if you are not quite sure where you want to go, what you want to do, the career exploration program, the ASVAB SEP, is an incredible free opportunity to assess your student and have them get a little bit more insight into who they are, their skills, interests, and abilities, and correlate those to career paths later. And so the ASVAB SEP is a great opportunity. So in any case, those are resources. I'm going to keep going. That was all tip one, you all. And we're trying to do this in 30 minutes. Okay. I love encouraging and inspiring and motivating those who are homeschooling, right? So, second tip, emphasize independent learning to your student, that they are capable to learn a lot of things independently, because eventually, especially becoming an adult, a lot of their life, most of their life, is going to be their independent decisions and their choices. And so you want to specifically help them be confident that they are able to learn independently, set them up for success. You want to shift from this teacher mindset to mentor or facilitator, right? There's a totally different thing between teacher and mentor and facilitator. Yes, you might be teaching some classes to your student as a high schooler. That's fine. But you also are really moved more into the position of mentoring and facilitating them for the next path. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining me. So you want to also consider maybe self-paced courses, dual enrollment, where you take classes at the local community college, because a 3 to 5 credit semester dual enrollment course at a community college is equal to 1 year of a high school course, and it is a less expensive option because you're saving money on college credit costs. So some parents and some kids really look at that as an option. And so the CLEP is another way. And you want to look at what type of test, SAT, ACT, when to take the PSAT. Are they going to take an AP course? And then are they going to sign up for an AP exam? So these are things. Encouraging them, time management is super important. Research skills, being self-motivated, being concerned about doing well, not hyper and worried and obsessed, but concerned that they want to put their best foot forward. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, that's my 5 tips for success. Keep your accurate records and your transcripts. I hear from a lot of families that they don't realize they should be giving a transcript to their student. A wise dear friend, Carol Becker, often said a transcript is the best gift a homeschool parent can give to their student. The student might say, Mom, I want money. I want a trip. I want this gift. And that's totally fine. But as a homeschool parent, your responsibility is to give that student a transcript, whether they are college bound or not. A transcript is needed. So please hear me. If you need help understanding how to create it, one key source I always recommend is HSLDA has an online store. You don't need to be a member. Ideally, it's worth being a member because they are a great organization. Putting a plug in for them. I do transparently work for them part-time as a high school educational specialist, as well as their military outreach coordinator, but I will plug them in regardless. So this is not an HSLDA webinar. This is totally me, but I can plug them in because I believe in them. And I think it's great that they have the store that's open to anybody. You don't need to be a member. You can create your transcript using their transcript service. You can buy all the graduation paraphernalia that you need. So go ahead and look at that. You can look at some of the states that host graduations for homeschoolers, like HEAV, Home Educators Association of Virginia, has an incredible graduation. So we're participating this year. We have participated in the past as well with one other of our students. So create the records, keep the records, the transcripts. If you need to do a portfolio, course descriptions. If your student is college bound athlete, the core course worksheets, CCWs. Get all that ready. Help your student create a resume of the extracurricular things that they've done so they can copy and paste into the Common App when they're applying for colleges. Tip number 4 would be prioritize life skills and character development. Teach financial literacy. There's plenty of classes out there that you can look for. I'll be partnering with someone creating a homeschool financial literacy program within the next year plus. We're working on that. Also, leadership communication. Help them be involved in opportunities where they can gain leadership skills. Because especially for those who are college bound, but I honestly believe for students just graduating from high school and becoming adults, I really believe academics is a key piece, yes. But also, who are they otherwise? Extracurriculars allow your student to know who they are, what they're interested in, what they're passionate about. And so it's really important to look for these opportunities, right, for extracurriculars and plug them in. There's so many that are available, including honor societies. So definitely make sure that you're helping them find out who they are. Also, involve them in opportunities for critical thinking. They're going to have to make sound decisions later, right? And they may have been dependent upon you as they should have been as a child. But now that they're getting older and getting ready to launch out of home, maybe not physically, but into that next phase, then you want them to be critical thinkers and be able to discern truth. That's really difficult nowadays, right? And so help them, because we're struggling as adults. So help them now. Encourage them to volunteer, entrepreneurship, right? Internships, even in high school. Mentor and show them how important self-care is and mental health care. I love speaking on mental health and strategizing and helping families understand how important that is for themselves as parents, but also how important it is for them, for their children, right? So well-being and mental health is super important. And then the 5th tip is stay flexible, right? And seek support. Don't try to do it alone. You might be like an introvert, which is totally fine. I'm clearly an extrovert, peoply person, but it's totally fine if you're an introvert, but you still doesn't mean you have to do this homeschooling journey alone. There's plenty of help, plenty of support groups, plenty of co-ops, plenty of homeschool state organizations that have incredible resources and programs. Plenty of people like me that can come alongside you through my Homeschool Natalie Mack, right? Plenty of other people out there. HSLDA is another example to bring back again. Plenty of opportunity. You don't need to do this alone. You don't need to feel like you're not capable. You don't need to be crying in the wilderness, help me, help me. There are resources available. If you want me to help you figure out what those are, then definitely, check out my website. I have a lot of resources there. Also, I have an opportunity under services to schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me. There's no excuse, right? We got resources for you. So plug into them. Like I said, find those co-ops, those support groups, those online communities. Find what you need so that you and your student and students can be successful. And success looks differently for every family. Like I said at the beginning, success doesn't equate with college bound. That's one success, but it could be trade school, right? It could be community college. It could be a gap year. It could be enlistment. There's so many post-secondary destinations. So it doesn't matter necessarily where, other than the fact that your student is prepared to go where that is. And that's your responsibility as a homeschool parent. But there's people who want to come alongside and help you. Right? So sometimes you have to outsource, find online courses, AP courses online, or tutors, right? I'm partnering for military with tutor.com. Free resources, DoD program for military homeschoolers. Incredible program. Not just if your student needs help academically, but for the college bound process. They have an incredible website to help people. It was great for our son who just was applying for colleges, the 12th grader, the last of 5 to be homeschooled, because they have a drop off essay. Like he was drafting up all of his essays for the Common App for these colleges he was applying to. And he was able to drop it off and ask for help, just kind of looking it over and giving some guidance. Free for military homeschoolers. So we're going to be doing more rollouts of that partnership, but there's other resources out there if you're not a military homeschooler. Okay. So I don't know who has joined me. I don't see any comments necessarily. They should have been coming up on the screen. Let me see here. Let me see if I can see any comments. Yeah, I don't see any comments yet, but definitely feel free to put comments in the comment section of wherever you're watching. Please feel free to share this out to your community or someone that you know might need to hear this. Please remember to check my Facebook pages, my YouTube, right? Homeschool Natalie Mack. Please like and follow and subscribe on YouTube. And check me out on LinkedIn. And if you're a military homeschooler, plug into the militaryhomeschoolers.org website or the Facebook page, Military Homeschoolers Association. There's plenty of resources. And if you need help, consultations, I offer that through Homeschool Natalie Mack. So I really appreciate you joining me even during the replay. I look forward to comments, any questions, and I look forward to you reaching out to me via email is also an option at hello@Natalie-Mack.com. Okay. So I really appreciate this. We've been able to scoop through this in under the 30 minutes. So woo, I'm super excited about that. I think that that's all that I have for you right now. Hopefully that has been helpful and meaningful. And I look forward to engaging and you sharing this out to your community and giving me feedback and asking questions and comments. All right. So I really appreciate you joining me. And I look forward to doing this again. Thanks so very, very much.